Good evening and welcome to Facebook Live on this dark and dismal evening. Let me just refresh my computer and give people a chance to come on. Yay, I'm not alone. Excellent. Oh, it's just locked up. Why won't I move? Let's try there. Yay. Okay, I know I've missed all the hellos, sorry. Hi Maxine, hi Joe, hi Christine, hi Mary, hi Linda. Oh, thank you so much for joining me. Hi Julie, hi Jill, hi Pat. Lovely of you to join me this evening. Hi Catherine, and I really want to say a big thank you to everybody. When I read through all the comments, it was so lovely, and so many of you were saying that you were off to purchase or you'd already placed your order, so I really appreciate that. And I know Peter was totally blown away by the response, which is lovely. He's already busy drawing some new designs. Bless him. Okay, so who have I missed? Catherine and Pam and Anne and Brenda and Jane and Hilary and Christine and Joan and Val. Excellent. Thank you so much. It's so lovely that you've joined me, but then it's only football on, isn't it? So hi Steph. Okay, so I'm going to just very briefly show you the stamps for anyone who didn't see them this morning, and then I will get on with my demo. I have got 2 cards prepped, but I think it depends how the time goes. It might turn out just to be one tonight, because I've got lots to do still tonight. I'm going to do haircuts and stuff later. Mad. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so I've got Katie and Kim and Gemma and Virginia and Chell as well. So I'm going to flip the camera and just a very quick look at the stamps and everything, and then we'll get on with the demo. Hi Linda. Yeah, who else is fed up with the football? Yeah, just a bit. So this is perfect, isn't it, Anne? Bear with me. Okay. So I have flipped my camera. So if I don't say hello to anybody else, hi Jackie, before I get started. I do always read them afterwards. So if I don't say good evening to you, hi Gay, then I'm just saying hello to everybody, okay? Right, so the first stamps is Peter's Chrysanthemum, and this has got 3 beautiful different flower heads in there, the dictionary definition, and then a couple of leaves as well. They're really beautiful, and lots of you have been pinning from Pinterest, so I know that you found the boards and everything, but there is a link on the page to take you to Pinterest so that you can see all the DT samples as well. So lots and lots of inspiration. And then there's Peter's Cosmos as well. Lovely big floral design, but you've got the buds, you've got a flower head, you've got the sprig that Marion made that lovely Christmas tree with. And then you've also got Make a Wish for someone special, and Friends are like flowers who brighten your day, which is lovely. And then there's the stencil and mask. So the oval works beautifully with the Cosmos, which is what I'm going to demo tonight as well. You get the lovely decorative edge with the oval. You get a different sized oval, and then you get 2. You get the waist, if you like, but the mask, so that you can do the stenciling. I did actually have my boards for my stencils. There you go. So you can, with the masks, you will create something like that. And with the stencil, you can create something like that. So really lovely, useful one, really nice for flowers, gives your card like a real focal point. So I think that's a really good addition to anyone's collection, really. And then we've got, to go along with the Happy and Birthday, we've got Just For You and With Love. And these have got, I'm going to get my balls because it's so much easier. So with the just for you, you get just because, you are special, thank you, thinking of you, and Philippa put you are special on hers as well. And then in the with love, there's the with love, and then you can say sent with love. You can do sent with love and best wishes, just best wishes, which is always really useful. I love you, love always, I love you always, whatever you want, or with love always. So just two really nice additions. I'm loving this font as well. Just think it looks just so good on the cards. It really does. I don't think I've made a card that I haven't liked the end result because of the wording on it. So this is the collection, and it is available from Dragon's Papercraft, from Craft Stash, from Let's Create, from Forget Me Not Craft Cabin, Maximum Crafts, Luby Crafts, The Art of Crafts, Craft Bliss, and the Mulberry Bush. And it is winging its way over to America to Simon Says Stamps. So it should be on their website, I would think, early next week, because it's Thanksgiving out there at the moment. So I'm imagining they're on holiday until next week. So that's the collection. And now I'm going to... So my first demo was going to be showing how to create this lovely card. I really like this. I think it's so easy and really simple. Oh, yes. Somebody, Steph has just mentioned, if anybody wants to follow Peter, he is on Facebook, and he also, so just under Peter Tophilus, and he also posts quite often in Clean and Simple Card Making Facebook group. So if you search for that, you have to ask to be a member, but then once you are a member, there's lots and lots of inspiration on there that is obviously clean and simple. So I'm going to start, this is what I'm going to demo first of all. So I'm going to bring in my board that I bought a while ago now, and I always forget that I've got it, and it is so good with stenciling. So I've got an A6 piece of card, and I need my stencil. So I'm going to take just the oval, and I'm going to line it up so that I've got an evenish border either side. And I'm going to use this is a magnetic board, so it holds it in place. It's just brilliant. And I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to cover up the edge. Now you can do it with paper, or you could put, actually I'm going to do it with, I am actually going to use magic tape. And I'll tell you why, because when I did something earlier, I found that the paper was moving a little bit. So if I put magic tape down there, it's going to hold everything in place, but it also means I'm not going to get any ink on my card. So that would be perfect. So I'm going to start off, and I've got Kitsch Flamingo, Dried Marigold, and Salvage Patina. And I'm going to do it the other way round. So I'm going to have pink at the top, then the marigold, and then blue at the bottom, just to make it different. Okay, so I'm going to load my brush up. Now, the thing that some people make a mistake with stenciling is they don't put enough ink on their brush. And it's much better to have lots of ink and then go gently, because you can always build it up. But you'll find you'll get a much nicer blend if you've really loaded your brush up well. I got my mat through Hazel at Dragon's Papercraft. It's a make art station. It's got the magnetic bits on here. It's completely wipeable. It's got this fabulous grid on it, so it helps you to line things up. And you also get a magnetic ruler. So if you're trying to line something up in your card, this is really good, because you've got the centering piece here, so I can put, if I have it on one notch, then I know that that naught there is in the center. So it's a really nice, really useful ruler. and it's magnetic as well, so it's fabulous. It's a Wendy Vici Make Art Station. So any other questions I will answer. If Philippa's on, then, or Hazel or any of the design team, if you want to answer, that's fine. If not, I will read it through the comments afterwards and get back to you. Okay, so I'm going to blend. So I start on my stencil and then I blend onto my card. And because Savage Patina is quite a pale colour, you can go quite heavy-handed, or apply more pressure, I should say, rather than go heavy-handed, because you obviously want to build the colour up. I'm very aware that over on my stencil here, my little dots aren't covered. So I'm just going to put some tape on there, and then I know I don't need to worry at all now. There's nothing exposed. I'm only going to get my oval on my card. And I'm not having to hold anything in place because the magnets are holding everything down. And I'm just going to blend the blue until I'm happy with how it's blended, how far up it's gone. Okay, and then I'm going to change. I'm going to do the pink next, and then I'm going to come down and just do a bit of the marigold in the middle. So again, lots of ink. So this is Kitsch Flamingo. Again, this is quite a pale colour. So really load your brush up, and I'm doing circular motion. You can go clockwise or anti-clockwise, it doesn't matter. But just blend that, keep going. Again, Kitsch Flamingo is quite a pale colour, and also I noticed that my lid had been left off, so probably a bit dry. Might have to invest in a re-inker. Although I might have one actually, I might need to look the box out, that'd be good. Okay, so once you're happy, how soft and lovely does that look? This is going to be such a good stencil for Easter as well, to do eggs. Be lovely. Okay, so now I've got dried marigold, and I'm going to start at the edge, go across the middle, and then blend into both the pink and into the blue. So you'll get different colours showing. So where I'm going into the blue, I'll probably get a bit of green, a little bit of green. And just blend that in. Keep working until you're happy with how it's looking. But I think that's pretty good. Make sure my lids are on this time. Get that out of the way. Move my brushes out of the way. Now I'm going to wipe the ink off of my stencil carefully, because I don't want to go over onto my card with it. You can take it off and wipe it afterwards if you want as well. It doesn't matter. Now, because I've got this hinge down the side where I covered up that edge, I can make sure that I'm happy with how that's looking before I finish. Got slightly darker colours this time, which I'm quite happy with. That's lovely. So every time you do a bit of stenciling, really it's going to be a little bit different each time. So I would either leave this on here so you've got it for next time, or take it off and I have a place that I keep all the tape. Something like this I would probably actually leave on here so it's ready for when I stencil something else again. Okay, so got my front piece. Now I need to move this out of the way, and let's bring my stamping press in. So I can bring this in, and I'm going to pop that into the bottom of my press, into the corner, and then grab my Cosmos stamp, and I've made a little holder for them. Oh, actually, I don't want it in the corner. I've just remembered. I need to move it out because I want to have my Cosmos going off the page, and I want it. I don't actually want the stem at the bottom. So I've got a sticky mat in my Misty. It's not very sticky anymore, but it does hold the card still in place. So I'm going to have just the bottom of the stem missing off, and Oh, I bet I've used the wrong piece of card. I cut one piece of card down in size, didn't I? Oh, I don't know. I might have picked the right one. Did I? I did pick the right one. Miracle. So I've already trimmed this down a little bit so it's going to fit onto my card. But you can do that afterwards. It doesn't matter. So I pick my stamp up. And then because it's causes a bit of a vacuum, make sure you've got it in straight still and it's all lined up with all your lines. And then I'm using VersaFine Black Onyx. I'm just inking my stamp. And then I'll bring my press over and stamp that down. And that's going to give me just like partial design on the edge of my card, which I really like. So I can pop that out. So that's stamped absolutely beautifully. And this was a piece of 6x4 which I've cut down ever so slightly, so it leaves me a little border around the edge of my card. I'm very aware I don't want to get my card sprayed. I'm just going to clean my stamp. So I clean my stamp with a bit of water and a microfiber cloth. And the teeth in the microfiber cloth get into all the nooks and crannies and will clean all that ink off beautifully. And then this can go back in my little book and it's ready to go again. Okay, now I did get some ink on my mat and all I do is like just blot it a little bit because I don't want to rub too much because I don't want to take any more sticky off, but it's fine. I did actually see Marion using baby wipes on hers. So I need to give that a go and see if that's a good way to do it. So I'm going to put my card back there so it hides the light. Okay, so I've got a piece of card ready to score to make my 6x4 card. These bits out of the way. And I'm going to bring my scoreboard in and I'm going to score this at 10.5. Making sure it's nicely in the scoreboard a couple of times. And then I can flip it over. Just so you know, the score that you make is called the valley and the bit inside is called the mountain. And you always have the mountain on the inside of your card. And that way it should always fold really nicely for you. Lots of people think it's the other way around, but it is the mountain that goes on the inside of the card. Okay, so now this can go down on our card blank. Got that nice border around the edge. And I'm actually going to use some foam pads to pop that down because I want to raise it up. So I'm going to use big foam pads. And I should only really probably need one in each corner and one in the middle, but I'm going to put one on either side, I think. There's nothing worse. I mean, I use really nice quality cards, so it shouldn't sag at all, but I don't think there's anything worse than it not looking like it's supported all the way through. So then this can go onto our card front. I'll just stand up and make sure I get this straight. So I line up the top and the sides. I hope I've got it about right. Okay, and then I'm going to take another piece of white card and my press. And I'm going to stamp the with love and best wishes because I want you to see how beautiful they look when we heat emboss them. So I've got with love and we'll do the and the best wishes. Now I can position them so that I could flip the card over and I could get another one at the bottom. So I pick those stamps up. Very importantly, because I like to touch my card, make sure that you wipe it with an anti-static bag. And then I have my Wow embossing ink pad. I'm just going to tap gently all over the stamps. Make sure I've got really nice coverage, especially because those letters are very solid and quite big as well. So then bring my press back in and stamp those down. I want to give some pressure, but on the finer words, I always say fairy fingers, because you need to go a lot more gently. But then over the other words, you can add a bit more pressure. And we take this out, and I've got a piece of scrap card that I use for my embossing, and I need my platinum, the only one there is as far as I'm concerned. So this is metallic platinum, super fine, from Wow. And just tap that gently over the wording. Okay, so beautifully, everything's covered beautifully. Just pop your embossing back in the pot. And then my lid goes on so that I don't lose any. I'm getting a bit short on that. I don't know, but I hope they do a great big pot like this of platinum, because I want a great big pot of it. Okay, so now I'm going to heat set this. Now normally, if you do it from underneath, you get really nice smooth embossing. But because of where my camera's placed, I'm going to have to do it from above. So I'm going to put my heat tool on and let that heat up, and then I'm going to take it onto the embossing, and hopefully you will see it change and do its magic. Let's see if I can get it so you can see it actually turning. Okay, so as soon as it goes raised and shiny, you can move your heat tool along and just work systematically all over so that you don't miss any bits. I don't know if you're catching this really, but beautiful. I mean, how lovely. Look at that. How beautiful does that look? Okay then, so what I did was I then cut out my letters. Now, I didn't want you to sit and watch me cutting out. Oh, I bet I've lost the "and" now. Okay, I've done them all with foam pads and everything. I've got the best wishes ready, got the love ready. Going to finish cutting the without. Okay, so I'm going to have to cut the and the without because I've lost my "and." Okay, so when I cut my sentiments out, I leave a border of white around the edge, and that makes it easier to cut out because you're making the letter, or in this case the ampersand, a little bit bigger. And I just find it's much easier. So following the shape, and you're best to twist the piece of paper and try and keep your scissors straight, but move the paper to cut it. You get much nicer, smoother finish to it that way. And then with the words, they're really easy because lots of them have got straight edges. So again, just a nice border and snip round them. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You could, of course, you can leave it so that it's just a banner to go on there, just as an oblong. It really doesn't matter. You could stamp directly onto your card if you wanted to. But I just feel that this, cutting them out, just doing this little bit of cutting, just really adds some interest to your sentiment as well and draws your eye to it a bit more. And then up the middle, and then just that last bit. Okay, so now we've got our "with love" and we've got our "and best wishes." So let me find some little foam pads and my pokey tool. Okay, oops, that's just left the foam pad behind. That's good. Let's try again. Okay, so then with love, I'm going to use, I have some of these thin foam pad strips, which are just brilliant. They're from Hunky Dory. Lots of the stockists will have them. I know that Hazel has them. I get mine from her. But they are just brilliant and make putting words and things on so easy. Oh, I don't know. I've seen sorry I'm late from Joe. Sorry I'm late from Hazel. You didn't forget, did you? I know Joe didn't. She was with her mum. Okay, what does that say? I'm hoping there would be a die because I hate fussy cussing. There isn't a die for these. Maybe that's something that could follow. I don't know. And I just, for me, I don't particularly like fussy cutting either. But for me, these aren't, I don't find them difficult to cut round. I don't know. I just think like the die would probably be quite expensive. And for something that, yeah, it would have to be sold, I think, with the wording, because otherwise you wouldn't want the dies. They wouldn't make sense. So now we can lay it out on, oh, there's the and, look, tucked in the other card. Never mind. Right, so we're going to decide now where to put our word in. Always, always lay it out first before you stick it down. So I'm going to have the best wishes over the stalk. As one of my little things has come off my and, I'm going to take the rest off. Okay, so then I'm going to add the word, and then we can add, we'll work backwards so that I'm going to put the love and then we'll tuck the with above it. And then you know that your spacing's good and that you've got it really where you want it to be. So you've got all the backing off of there. Let me stand up, make sure that it's straightish. Glad I said straightish. Okay. So the backing off of this one. And then I finished my card with a few of the glosses, which are fabulous to finish anything off really. And also a little bit of glitter glue in the flowers. So I'm going to tuck it behind slightly, just ever so slightly, but I want to offset it as well so that it just draws your eye to it. Plus that way you're seeing more of the main flower as well. Right, let's get rid of all these. Okay, and I turn the light, sorry. Let me see if I've got some glosses. I would hope I have. Right, let's go. Oh, perfect. So these are cotton candy. And so these are the perfect colours. So we'll put the bluey green, and then, which is the best pink? Or maybe go, that's too dark. Oh no, it's not. Let's have this dark one. We'll go with the darker one on this one. And then we need the pale yellow ones. I'm going to put over this side because I like to put my glosses on in a triangle because it draws your eye into the design when you do that. And then I just need a little bit of glitter glue, and I'm literally just going to scribble in the centres and just across the tops of those little flowers, and I might just do the sprig this time. Okay, and the only thing that I did differently on this one was I glittered around the edge of the piece of card. So I glittered around here, but I won't do it on this one because I think it's quite nice to see the difference. This looks so plain now to me. It really does. Maybe I'll glitter it later. Okay, so that was card number 1. And how different it looks upside down as well, like with the blue at the bottom and the pink at the top. So just the same colours. I just think that blows my mind that it looks so different. Okay, so we're only 8:30, aren't we? Yeah, let's do one more. Blow it. They're watching the football. Okay, so I was going to show how I created this card. So this is using the stencil again, and I'm using the chrysanthemums, and I'm using Thinking of You this time. So I've got a piece of card which is ready for me to score. This is 18 by 24. I'm going to move this a minute, and I'm going to score it at 12. So this will make a card that will fit a 7 by 5 envelope. So the card isn't 7 by 5, but it'll fit a 7 by 5 envelope. It's just slightly smaller, so it's perfect. Okay, then the original card, this one I did with seedless preserves, but when I was getting ready today, I'm not very good at doing the same card again. So I wanted to change it up and do a different colour card. So I've done my flowers in peacock feathers. So I've done my Thinking of You so that you've seen those stamps now, so you don't need to see that. So I've got a flower ready to cut out, and I've got my peacock feathers and my blending brush. So I need to bring my board back in. Let's move the card out of the way. And now, Hazel, someone was asking about this earlier. Do you still have these in stock, Hazel? Because there was a lady wanted to know about it, because it's brilliant for stenciling. So I'm going to bring my stencil back in, and this time I'm going to use the pattern. So I'm going to line that up. Actually, I can use this to line it up in my card. So if I make this the centre line, then I've got 1, 2, 3 and 2. I've got 1, 2, 3 and not quite 2. So move it over ever so slightly, and then I can use my magic ruler along the bottom here to see that I've got that sort of lined up, which I have. So that'll help me then to place my stencil on my card. So I'm going from here to here, so I need to make sure that that is equal. If the lady who was interested in one of these wants to make yourself known, then Hazel can let you know if she's got one, unless you've already done that. Right, Hazel does have one. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to get another piece of magic tape, and I'm going to place that down because I don't want any ink to come through the hole that's there. So then I can just concentrate on this area. Okay, so I have my peacock feathers. I've got a new brush, but I also found that a little brush is really good for getting in these little openings. And I know that there are some great little brushes about. This is a Funky Fossil one, so I'm just wiping all the pink off and making sure that there's no pink left on there before I go, and then I can use the little brush to do the little bit. So I'll do those first. So again, load your brush up, and I'm going to take a bit of this off because that ink looked a bit funny to start with. Right, I'll take it off on here because you can wipe this down, this mat. Okay, so it looks like it's all right. So I'm going to do the little detailing around the edge first with my little brush. In fact, I could probably do it all with my little brush, to be honest. And I love the way these magnets just hold everything in place. I'm so glad I remembered it this afternoon that I had this piece of kit, as it sat down on the floor and I've forgotten about it, as it really does. I love that it just holds everything in place, and then there's no worrying about anything moving. The magnets are so strong. Okay, so now I'm going to come in a little bit and I'm going to try and clean off the ink that I've got on my stencil just to add that bit of colour around the edge of the oval as well. I don't want it solid in the middle or anything, or completely covered. I just want a soft border around the edge. But I want to make sure that I've got like a nice shape in the middle as well. Okay, so lift my magnets off, move my ink pad out of the way, and then I can lift this up, take this piece of tape off, and this is like a hinge now, so I can remove it but have a look and make sure I'm happy with it. And when I am, I can take that away, keep my card centered in that place, and then I can place the stencil again down on my card. I think I might need to come down a little bit. Firm my tape down. Does that look about the same? I can't see from... No, I think I need to come down a little bit. Right, let's hold that on there. Okay, so lining this up. It's worth spending a little bit of time to get this bit right, and then just firm that down. And again, put your magnets on, get everything held down. And now we can load our brush up again, take a little bit off, and then come in, and we only need to do the half this time. And then I'm going to bring this, oh, too heavy. Too heavy and too much ink on my brush. Okay, I'm going to try with my big brush to soften it off a little bit. Don't worry too much, because I've got a flower that I'm going to put over there, so I can put that over the bit where it's worse. So that'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So then I can lift this off again, and again it's hinged, so I can take it away and make sure I'm happy with how it's looking. And then place my magnet that side, and place my stencil. Oh, looks like I was a bit off, never mind. So keep sticking down, let me get it right. So about there, I reckon. Let's put my magnets back. That's holding everything again for me. And I'm not going to put any more ink this time, but obviously I need it to be similar colour to this side, so I might have to add a bit more ink. Because now I've got that deeper colour, I need to make this side the same. Okay, so blend in my around the edge, soften that edge. Might just go back in with the big brush. That's going to clean some of that ink off as well, but just softens and blends it nicely. Okay, so if we take this off, again, lift it back, make sure you're happy, and I am. Okay, it's a little bit off. I could always trim a little bit off the card. I will clean this, and I will clean my mat as well once I've finished. Okay, so next what I did, I've got one stamp and some leaves, which are going to go in here. I've got my Thinking of You, which I've already stamped and embossed. And then I've just got my one chrysanth, which I'm just going to cut out. And again, I leave a little border around the edge of these, which again makes them much easier to cut out, because you're making everything that little bit bigger. And so you're not having to do those finer details, because you've enlarged the design, if you like. So just working my way round, do like to go in there and snip, because I love all the different petals that you get on this flower. I think it really adds interest to it. I am so pleased that you all love these stamps as well. It was, yeah, after I saw Peter's watercolour painting, it was like, they would just be fabulous as stamps. So hopefully we will have some more next year. Isn't that awful to be saying next year? Gosh. But as we I've got my cousin coming this weekend, and like you do, you know, I've made homemade sausage rolls today. You might have seen. I've done different things, bought nice things to have to eat and what have you. Like I'm sure everybody does. And I've even changed the date in the front room. We've got my dad's old desk date thing that's got the day and the month and the I don't know, the date, the day, the date and the month on it. And I put it for tomorrow. And then is that when the royalty arrives? Honestly. And that's why all the goodies, we've got all the goodies because royalty are coming. Anyway. Okay, so I'm now going to cut this in half. So literally you have to put it in and close your eyes. So I find sort of the halfway and then just cut. Because it doesn't matter if it's not exactly even or anything. I might just snip that little bit of petal off. Okay, so now I'm going to add one to one side of my card and one to the other side. I'm definitely going to put it up towards the top. And I really want this bit a bit further down. So I'm happy with the placement of that. So then I'm going to get, I've got some, no, they're not big enough. Let me get my other, this is what I want. So get my bigger circle ones out and we'll place my chrysanthemum down first. I'm just going to curl the petals up a little bit, just with my fingers. And that's just to add a little bit of dimension and interest to the flower. And then I can put a couple of foam pads on the back. And I'll place that flower down first of all. So get the angle that you want it to be in. I want it to be around the edge of the oval. Going to curl and shape my leaf and I will glue these ones on. So I curl them back and then I just bend a little bit up so I've got a flat area to put my glue on. So literally a bit of glue on there and the stem. Tuck it underneath. And the same with the other one. And then I overlapped my leaves, and these ones I just curled the edges of the petals up a little bit and put some glue straight down on the back of the flower so it's flat onto my card. Again, just curl these up a little bit just to add a little bit of interest. Some more glue so it can be flat towards the top of my card to hide the bit heavy-handed inking. And then I can take the backing. Again, I've used those lovely thin strips. They come in two different sizes, so you get the thin and you get the thicker as well, which just, I love them. And then I'm going to place this down. I'm going to bring it into my oval, so it's inside. And I love that with the U. It's almost like perfect shape. And then I've got some thin on the thinking. I'm just going to place that. And then all we need is definitely some glitter glue, and I believe the deeper colour. Oh yes, look at this, perfect. So this is from Party Mix, and again, so I like to do them in twos. I like to do them in a triangle, so it just draws your eye to your sentiment. And then just come in with a little bit of glitter glue. I will put that in the centre of the flower and just a little bit on the leaf, and not so much on that other flower. And then I'm just going to put a dot in each of the main oval. So I'm not going to do the sides, I'm just going to do this centre one, and then that will draw your eye more to that centre panel than the others. Okay, so we've got a blue version. In fact, let's bring it up here. So we've got the blue version, the peacock feathers, and then seedless preserves. And then we've got our with love, one with blue at the top and one with pink at the top. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope I've inspired you. Again, I want to thank you all for everyone who's placed your orders today. Let me flip the camera, sorry, bear with me. Yeah, I just want to thank you all definitely for your continued support, and I'm sure you'll get your parcels soon. I know that because of the Royal Mail strike, they might take a few days extra to get to you. But thank you again for, ordering. And don't forget, you can get them from Dragon's Papercraft, from Craft Stash, from Let's Create, from Forget Me Not Craft Cabin, Maximum Crafts, Luby Crafts, The Art of Craft, Craft Bliss, the Mulberry Bush, and On Their Way to America, for Simon Says. So don't forget the Pinterest boards. There is a link at the top of on the Facebook page. I know lots of you have been saving the pins today because I keep getting notifications, which is lovely. And I will be releasing an online workshop, but not until next week, and it'll probably be for the week after. But I've got a lovely project. It's all ready. In fact, I've nearly done 3 the same because I just love it so much. So I will post details about that very soon. So thanks ever so much for joining me. Have a lovely rest of the evening, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.